VOX Wins. Through begging, pleading, serious slacks, and passive-aggressive podcast pop-ups, we finally have them. Please welcome into the spotlight the big boss, my adored co-founder and CEO of VOX, Avetis Ghazaryan. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Richard. It's great to be here. I'm excited to be on the show, finally. And before we go deeper, I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much for doing this. I think we're episode 11, 12, and you have been doing such a phenomenal job bringing all the leaders, having those great conversations. I think we have so much more to come, but I'm excited to be here now and just talk a little bit about Vox and what are we seeing with our data.
Yeah, is this the fireside chat, the hot takes only episode? Let's just see how it goes. I guess the first question would have to be, why are we seeing your face now? What's happened around this time at Vox?
Yeah. I mean, we have been doing this for over a year at this point, right? It's been an exciting journey so far. I think I was waiting probably for the right time where we could show the real pain and problem we're solving in the market today. And it really comes down to B2B misalignment, the two sides of the market. Specifically today, our focus in the past few weeks has been really focused and centralized around conversational AI industry. This is sort of a teaser of what's coming up. There's some really interesting report that's going to come out soon with all the vendors being mapped. But I think overall, it made me realize that this is a perfect example to show the real pain, the real challenge in the space within conversational AI. What we are seeing in conversational AI from a leader side, and when I say leader, we work with directors and VPs of customer experience, customer service, e-commerce, the enterprise size retail and e-commerce organizations. And the feedback we've been seeing, the gathering from our data, is the market is fragmented. There's a lot of noise pretty much in the space in conversational AI. You work with small startups, large enterprise organizations. I mean, there's 5,000 conversational AI providers out there. How do you differentiate the ones that can help you from the noise? Everyone is using the agentic AI term these days. We just came out of a call with one of our leaders, and that was one of the feedback that we got. So it's the market is fragmented. When you look at the conversational AI landscape from the leader's perspective, you see fragmented marketplace. You see startups or vendors offering pretty much the same solution. It's not differentiated. It's not really helpful for leaders. At the same time, you have marketing and sales teams reaching out to leaders, and it's just so much noise and same type of messaging that I think doesn't really add value to the world of leaders. We see that as a challenge, and we have been addressing this challenge even outside of conversational AI space. This is a problem in B2B today, is there's more of that communication happening from the vendor side, but it's not really helping leaders, not aligned with their priorities, not really helping in their day-to-day the way they wish it would. And at the same time, we had the opportunity to speak probably half of the vendors within conversational AI vendors within retail and e-commerce space. And really interesting to observe, talking to top players in the market, new players in the market, and really noticing the same challenge, pretty much a lot of guessing and guesswork happening when it comes to go-to-market, whether it's your marketing strategy, sales, business development strategy, just really trying to figure out, especially with new press releases coming out about AI, new features, new capabilities, how to catch up, how to differentiate. We're seeing this problem very naturally, leaders sharing with us. And it just felt like this is exactly why we started Vox. This is the mission. This is why we're doing this, right? We are on a mission to bring alignment to two sides of the market and do that specifically through the voice of leaders, right? To help leaders see the consensus voice of their peers and help them, enable them, empower them with insights from their peers to help them understand how everyone else is going through uncertainty within specific areas in the industry that they care about, and provide them that pure insight, pure perspective, as well as the vendor landscape and how it maps, how vendors in each industry map based on their dynamic preferences and challenges. This is really a perfect example with our conversational AI report that's going to come out hopefully the first week of May. We will share this with leaders. But at the same time, also mission to help vendors, B2B companies, agencies, technology companies, to understand what really matters to their buyers, to the leaders, to the key decision makers they're targeting. What is the language? What is the email communication, sales communication they prefer? But also, what are some of the uncertainties they're going through? And how, as a vendor, you can add value in your communication? How can you position yourself as that strategic advisor on that journey to help leaders, key decision makers to succeed?
I remember the earlier days, and it was pretty clear. What's the email your buyers want to receive? What's the LinkedIn note that they want? What's the phone script that's going to keep them on the line and actually be on 10 seconds, book next steps? And I think from just continuing to talk with both sides of the market, we now understand what's the blog post your buyer wants to read. What do they even want to hear on that first disco call? And what do they need to hear in order to book that second meeting? Even just generally, like, what do they want to learn about the macro environment, about your solution, while they're just early in that journey of evaluation and research? Okay, so today's focus, Vox. You've talked so much about this monumental problem in front of us. You're the best person to share with our audience on what we're really heads down and focused on today.
If you compare us with research companies like Gartner and Forrester, right? It's market research. It takes months, 3 months, up to 6 months to collect insights, understand the landscape. Our focus is really the voice of the leaders. So instead of focusing on analyst perspective, what we try to bring in with Vox is the leader perspective, right? What are the key decision makers, leaders out there in the field who are going through this, who are the ones making decisions on solutions, are in need for? And what are their priorities? And how can we serve their needs dynamically in real time? And so I think this is really exciting. One of the areas for us is how we actually do this, right? At Vox, we work with a large number of leaders. Today, we cover over 100 senior executives in retail and e-commerce. Our goal by the end of the year is cover 80% of the market within retail and e-commerce, including customer experience, customer service, e-commerce, but also exceeding and going beyond within IT departments is where we see a lot of interest, and also expanding into finance teams and beyond. So that's our focus today, but we work very closely with leaders, and our goal is to dynamically capture insights every day. As we speak right now and doing this podcast, our technology is capturing those insights from leaders, and we have this AI research that we have put together that allows us to then dynamically capture consensus voice of leaders, identify the consensus among leaders, and be able to prioritize and show what's really, truly important to leaders at which scale, and what's less important to them. And we try to serve and process this data, and we try to serve it to technology companies.
I think I can humbly just add to the leader perspective, where I think a lot of the value prop for them is getting a chance to see this data early and see some pretty special reports that we put on before even this data goes onto product. And so I think today it's leaders getting a chance to say, oh, how are my peers reacting to the macro environment? In the future, I think we're going to enable more business opportunities for them. And that comes from sort of a minority segment right now, but a distinct one that is getting a little bit more into fractional consulting opportunities. I think Vox can become the first place that any retail brand will go to find elite fractional or full talent for them. Now, any person that works at a startup, let alone founding one, knows that you're a fool if you think you can perfectly predict the world 6 to 10 months in front of you. But let's try to look backwards, do a little Monday morning quarterbacking. Has there been an impact, consequence of this Vox movement that has been unexpected to you? Maybe a value that you didn't expect or hadn't seen coming?
When we were building this company, and I think we're preparing our first round of research and collecting insights, I had this biased perspective that I think I've developed over a course of over a decade working for vendor side and always targeting leaders in the space. Leaders know what they're looking for. They have a clear idea. It's very defined. There are 3 things that they're looking for, and we will need to identify those 3 things and be able to be that partner that delivers on those 3 areas. One of the big surprises was when we collected this from very senior executives, right, within retail and e-commerce across different departments. You could see this very consistently, that majority of the insights are in the form of curiosity and questions and unsolved problems that we're capturing from leaders, right? What you see is that not only the things that they know they prefer, but there's areas that they would love guidance and help. And so when I view this, I think, first of all, this is really an amazing opportunity for leaders to see how their peers adapting to shifting priorities, challenges, tariffs, big topic. I'm glad we're covering that in our podcast. But we're also seeing this already in our data, how different leaders are adapting to this. It's just impacting every single area. So you will not see a clear answer from leader in regards to tariffs. You'll see uncertainty. But this is a massive opportunity to leaders to see how their peers are responding to this, or how they are, like what challenges are they going through. At the same time, I think this is a great opportunity for vendors, strategic technology companies, agencies, to bring that value in their communication, to try to solve and help leaders go through this time of uncertainty. I think this is exactly where a lot of technology companies can position themselves as a thought leader in the space by really capturing the right things to talk about and truly delivering value in those areas.
Exactly, well said. Yeah, it's become that consultative asset. Then it's like, hey, we've been talking, I've been sharing insights on and doing your market research for you. Now I have something that I think will solve, and I'm going to get 30 minutes on your calendar for sure. I'm going to be biased myself, and I'm going to remember back to the days that I was a recruiter and just how much the candidate experience meant. And especially how we did things at Snaps, I thought was pretty special. But it's how we're hiring today. I mean, as much as I think I can say that I've created a great candidate experience, I mean, you're really upshowing me in how we're doing recruiting at a time where the labor market is as leaning to one way as it is. And you go on LinkedIn and everyone's being disrespected and ghosted by candidates. I'm actually very proud of how we built out our engineering and our product teams, where we'll say, hey, let's really focus down to 10 people that we think could potentially get the job done. And we will pay you to interview with us. And, we're going to come to you with a little problem that we need some work on, but based on how we work together, how we talk to one another, that's really what we need to get ahead. So, call it a paid case study or a paid pilot. I think both those terms are interchangeable. Paying people, respecting people for their time. And I just think, the people that we get the privilege to work with are pretty special. And I think it's because we really try to treat them the right way. If you take the amount of money we've paid on any contract or deal that we've been obligated to, and you figure, hey, contracted with someone, something happened, they had to leave, you're not going to fulfill 100% of that contract. So that might be 85 to 90, right? So if you looked at all the deals that we've signed, we're actually currently above 100%, which again makes me the worst CFO of all time. And, thankfully it's just an interim at the head of that. But that speaks to early days of our research, right? A year ago, when the survey took too long and we could not give an accurate time estimation for how long it would take to speak with us and get those insights. If we heard from a couple of handfuls of people, right? Not the largest amount for all the people that we do speak with, but if we just got the little bit of a signal, we went ahead and we just paid all leaders an extra hour just to be on the safe side, because building trust and that reputation comes to the forefront. I think this is a wonderful business model, but I'm still thinking that we're better people than we are capitalists. VCs, don't take that seriously. We're not going to put that on the deck.
That's exactly what I was going to add. We need to caption there. Everything you said is true. We're super efficient, ridiculously efficient in our process. But that is a true fact. We try to compensate our people above 100%, and we try to compensate them as soon as possible, which I admire a lot about Richard, this, that focus. So, but yeah, absolutely.
Without spoiling any surprises, is there a future element, something cooking, waiting in the wings here at Vox that gets you really excited?
Well, I think future overall gets me really excited about Vox, because this is more like a longer term view, right? But what we are doing as a company is we are, as you can see, we're betting on the voice of leaders, of people. Right. We try to elevate the voice of people, and we use AI and most recent models in AI to achieve that. And I think this is a very interesting combination of things to do. Instead of replacing people or betting on people, we say that their voice has very strong value, especially with the leaders we're talking to. And I think the future is going to be interesting as we expand this further across multiple areas, within B2B, outside B2B. I think the future is really exciting, and see the evolution and the use of AI and most recent models of AI in elevating and capturing the voice of people. And I think seeing that in a form of data which is the output form that we provide, while providing these practical tools for teams and their AI tools to leverage. If I were to talk near future, I think one of the features that we added, which really came out from the conversations with these conversational AI vendors, is going to be, we have a report coming up, which is going to be very interesting to see how different vendors map across different dynamic areas that we have captured from our data. And in response to that, we are going to be introducing a feature within our product that is not only going to allow vendors to see the dynamic real-time insights from leaders, but dynamically ask questions to leaders. If you have a deal in a pipeline with a large enterprise brand with a specific type of leader, you can request insights and we will work with you to help you ask the right questions. But I think a feature is going to enable vendors dynamically ask questions to leaders and see those responses on a consensus level come back to them, and helping them in their sales, marketing, business development. This is a feature we have been working towards for the past few weeks and months, and I think is very excited to revealing and see how companies will end up using it and how it will help them achieve the growth and then the KPIs they have in front of them.
Totally. It's going to change B2B. Yeah, I'm excited about ethically sourced, organic, grass-fed capitalism. I wanted to create an AI company that works for people, that's going to reward them for the importance that their data has. I think a lot of the big companies, which I think we're great partners with, kind of surveyed, sampled, trained on all the output of human beings. And I'm looking at a plan that's going to replace human beings without any sort of plan to sustain what they're going to do for jobs and how we participate in an economy. And that's not a political sentiment, right? Because be it Republican or Democrat, I don't think either party has successfully brought up minimal wage to a living wage. Who is going to create that dream that I think we're promised? AI working for people and rewarding people for that work and a living wage for a minimum amount of work per month. We have a choice to bring that future into realization. So keep watching us. That being said, we've got a lot of work to do tonight, so we'll end it there and context switch. Thank you, Avetis, for coming into the show. Always a pleasure to chat with you. For everyone else, stay tuned, because the changing retail landscape will always have their pulse here on the VOX Wins podcast. See you next week.